Hey yo, what the deal, my people? I'm back at you, and this is another fantasy football season. Tony Teflon the Don, and I'm here to help you win your league, and that's what it's all about, making that money. First, I'd like to say thank you for anyone watching, and thank you for anyone who has subscribed. And software and I will be in front of the camera soon enough, but until then, we will jump it off like this. Hopefully, by the third video I post, and I plan on posting one every week, I will be in front of the camera. So, first things first, what you have to do to win your fantasy football league, number one, is draft. And I believe that if you draft a good team right off the back and you don't have to worry about the waiver wire, that is the key to having a good team. Now, this is for anybody. This draft strategy, I have used this draft strategy for the past 2 years. I have won every league I've been in for the past 2 years. I believe that this is a foolproof strategy, and if you use this strategy in the way the NFL is played today, this is the way it's got to be. So it works for a standard or PPR, but if you're a 2-quarterback league, then you'll have to try something. I would have to give you a different strategy. But if it's not 2-quarterback, standard or PPR, this is the way I would suggest you draft. And really, it comes down to your first 4 picks. Everything else after that is really potluck. So you want to make sure you get your best first 4 picks. And this is the order I suggest you draft them in. Running back, wide receiver, tight end for your first 4 picks. Make sure that you do it just like that. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, a lot of people will tell you like, oh, you're deep, wide receiver's deep. You don't have to do that. And wide receiver is deep with a bunch of mediocre players that you can't depend upon. All right, so just imagine if you are in a 10-team league, right? 10-team league as ESPN, if all 10 wide receivers are gone, and that would end at Randall Cobb, your next 11th receiver would be T.Y. Hilton. If you think T.Y. Hilton is a number 1 receiver that you want to depend your team on, come play in my league, because I guarantee I'll beat you every time. And then after that, you have Mike Evans, who has a rookie quarterback throwing to him. So you don't know how that's going to work out. So that is why you have to make sure you get these stud wide receivers. Now, you want to get yourself that first stud back. And that is very important because there really are no tremendous depth in running backs. And it does not have to be a tremendous depth in running back because that's not the way the league is played. So you want to walk away, because if you get down to number 10, LaShawn McCoy, as ESPN stats says, after that, Jeremy Hill, Mark Ingram, Alfred Morris, that's all just a crapshoot. So you just need one of these guys. You want to get one of the top 10 guys. Doesn't matter who it is. You want to get yourself one of the top 10 guys. Now, the reason why I do not have another running back in there earlier than taking before I took a tight end is because, especially in the PPR league, if a running back catches passes out the backfield, you can make those points on that. To me, the second running back position is the most useless position in there. If you have one that hits, that's tremendous, but usually people don't. If you have a great number 1 back, he can make enough points for you to cover up your opponent's both 2 backs. And if you have someone catching it out the backfield, you're good to go. I won my last league with Danny Woodhead the year before last, with Danny Woodhead as my second back. And last year I had Fred Jackson. But I had Jamal Charles both years on both of these teams. And that's what carried the way. Next, I'm telling you, wide receiver. Now, you want to go double wide receiver. And this is the reason why. Especially if you're at the end of the draft and if it's a keeper league and you get to keep running and you get to keep a running back. Now, if it's a keeper league and you have a running back on your roster, then just start wide receiver, tight end. Don't worry about the first running back if you already have one from a keeper league. All right. Now, if you don't, so you want to grab wide receiver, and this is the reason why. Everyone's going to tell you how deep it is, right? So when you look at the first 10 wide receivers, Antonio Brown, DeMarcus Thomas, Des Bryant, Odell Beckham Jr., Jordy Nelson, Julio Jones, Calvin Johnson, A.J. Green, Alshon Jeffrey, Randall Cobb. The next guys There are question marks on every one the next 10. You have Brandon Cooks at 16. What did he do last year? Not a lot. Jordan Matthews at 17. Not a lot. Julian Edelman. Not a lot. Sammy Watkins. Who's throwing to him? At 19. And Keenan Allen at 20. I know a lot of people lost their league because of Keenan Allen last year. Now, so when you look at all that, right, you say, oh, wide receivers deep. You can't depend on those guys. You need a guy that you need your wide receivers to be put in there. Last year on my draft, I had Antonio Brown and I drafted Jordy Nelson back to back at the end of the first round. I was the 10th pick, and I drafted them back to back. Antonio Brown, Jordy Nelson. I also did wind up getting Odell Beckham Jr., but I drafted him in like one of the last rounds because he was hurt. So that was just a coup. And with those wide receivers all year, I beat every team and went undefeated. So that is the way I roll, and that is why you want to get that. Because if you don't have those guys, say you go past the top 20, and you had Deshaun Jackson, Vincent Jackson, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, Andre Johnson, Brandon Marshall, those guys could be good. Brandon Marshall could be good. Vincent Jackson could be good. Andre Johnson could be good, but you don't know. And wide receiver, the way the league is ran right now, is what you need to know. You need to know that. Now, the next pick I have is for tight end. And the reason why I say you want to get a tight end is because there are no tight ends. And tight ends, if you have a great tight end, it is such a coup. So if you could somehow walk away with Greg Olsen, Jimmy Graham, Rob Gronkowski. Now, Rob Gronkowski, I guarantee, will go in the first round, so don't take him. Just let that person have him, whoever's going to have him. You might be able to walk after those three, right? You're looking at Martellus Bennett, number 5. Julian Thomas in Jacksonville. Jason Witten. Zach Ertz. You know how many people picked Zach Ertz last year, thought he was going to do something, and he's got you at 6 points, 7 points? You want a tight end who can score wide receiver type numbers. That's why you want to get one early and let everybody else keep guessing what tight end they're putting in all league long. And that's the bottom line. That's how you do it. As for quarterback, if you want to ask me when I would draft a quarterback, I would draft a quarterback probably in round 7 because I think quarterback is the deepest position out there. So I don't think you really need to draft a quarterback early. It's very nice to have Peyton Manning or one of the Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson. Very nice to have those guys. But in every pre-draft I've done so far this year, in the last round, 7, 8 round, Drew Brees was there. Matt Ryan was there. Ben Roethlisberger was there. Tony Romo was there. Tom Brady was there. And even after that, Ryan Tannehill, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford. That's 14 right there. And even if you go down to Joe Flacco at 20, you have a decent starting quarterback. Because all you should ask for your starting quarterback is 2 touchdowns a game. That's what you should be looking for out of your starting quarterback. Can that guy get me 2 touchdowns a game? Anything else is a bonus. But you got to get 2 touchdowns a game from that dude. And that's the way it is. So that's my draft strategy. As I said, the first 4 picks are the most important. After that, you really have to sort it out to work the way the draft is going. So as I said before, the first 4 picks, it should be running back, wide receiver, tight end. Use that strategy, and I guarantee you will win your league. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace! And stay sexy.